Yeah. We went out there.
Let's see, this is yesterday, just for the record. I don't know what kind of streak I'm on here, but sometime during the summer, when I had my concussion and flashing lights, right, from the puddle down at the base of City College. I don't remember because I got my brain smashed, okay? See that little thing right there? That's it. Okay, but anyway, gave the bike away and spent 5 months in LA and changed my pellet to a completely non-toxic pellet. And if you'd like to know, artists use a lot of poisonous stuff. Well, I no longer have anything on here that's poisonous, but I'll guarantee you that most artists do. They work with chromium, barium, nickel, titanate, lots of cadmium. Yeah, of course the lead's not in it anymore. Not anymore. China white is lead white though. You got to go for like a different white. There's more. Okay, when the sun goes down though, this is going to be a very nice modest painting. And that's just one side of the courthouse. Of course, my favorite view is taken up by some lady doing the quick draw contest. And I just want to tell you, somebody came up here. I didn't have any idea. I'd left for a day, and I was like, okay, I'm up here in sort of State Street area, and people are running around with schedules, and they're saying, "Oh, are you here for the first Thursday?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know it was first Thursday. I never keep track of it." But hey, you know what? I'll show you something about the quick draw contest. And I said, here's the quick draw. Well, I don't know. Wet into wet. That's interesting. It's where you don't know where it is, and you wet the paper, you put some color down, and it becomes something. Wet into wet. Or I call them also dreamscapes because they become a dream. They become a reality, rather. Some is just plain fast. Now, this little girl was not sitting there waiting for her mom for more than 10 minutes. Maybe even 5. Maybe because your mom was going to the bathroom evidently. She's like probably an ESL student. I really like the Dick and Jane facial feature I got here. I've never done a Dick and Jane that good, but if you remember the Dick and Jane readers from the 3rd grade, they always had facial features that looked like that, where they did a kind of a shadow, like what do they call that? I always get it mixed up with parallax, but there's a shadow that's in the middle of the shadow, and I'll think of it soon. Like probably after this whole film is over. I just want to show you one. Sometimes they're really fast. And here's another one where they're sitting. She's just there. I call this contrapposto because in Roman times in art, that was like a twisted body form. See, her legs are pointing this way. She's on the phone probably waiting for a ride, so she's twisted that way. Here's a girl getting on the land shark. Like the tie-dye, don't you? Huh? Okay, I'll show you. These two are the pride and joy of all of my portrait work or people work, because neither one was rehearsed. She was sitting next to me doing some jewelry, asked me to watch her stuff, went off to the restroom, and some guy stopped to talk to her, and she had that get up on that day, and I just said, picked it up, no lines. This girl was shooting down Fishwalk about 100 miles an hour, probably a waitress, and purse, cell phone in her ear, frizzy hair, sort of a little kind of a vest back, and then, you know, tight jeans and the whole high heel thing, right? And the paper was already wet and I forgot. So as I put color down, it just happened to be a very, very dark staining color. That's what came of it. And so Dahlia, 25 by the way, okay? The lechers out there. What's wrong with looking at the human body? Except I can't stand to look at my own, so I look at other people's. Those are a couple of nice ones. There's a nice one, Pfeiffer Cove, Pfeiffer Beach rather, north of, this is Point Sur out here. Yeah. And of course our own famous harbor with famous brofees. Sue's Wonderful Place, which I think she misunderstood me when I, one time, but that was cool. Look at this Ghost Rider. Now that's wet into wet right there. And if you have some talent, you can do stuff like that. If you don't have any talent, you do abstract. That's what it comes out like, abstract, all right? Now, if you notice that inside realism, there can be scumble and abstract stuff. That's where your abstract comes in. Like, for instance, this thing I'm doing right here. Right in here, it's too much information. First of all, it's too much information for those people, and it's too much information for me. And although I communicate a lot of information in a lot of detail, it's usually because I know it's there. But yeah, it's an effort to memorize this stuff. And I need one of those cool bloggies, and I can just like jump off like into the water sometime, and the thing will just like follow me. One of those ones that we saw with the extreme skiing and stuff like that.
Yep.
I laid down some yellow here where the trees are supposed to be. And I'll tell you what, don't anybody ever tell you that I know how to paint palm trees, because as long as I've been painting palm trees, there's like 6 different kinds of palm trees. You see that? And that's great. And people always, you know, the locals, other people from other, just say to you that Rusty's Pizza is a functioning lighthouse, but it doesn't operate as a lighthouse. He used to say, you know, we're gonna get it, we're gonna make it the pasta bazzuro. Okay, dead. You know what he say? La America s'ha fatta te. Okay. So I have more Sicilian relatives now. My daughter married some guy that was evidently somewhat Italian, and it was an Italian from Jersey. Okay, she'll hear that and she'll disown me again, but she's already disowned me once. She can't disown me anymore. And actually kind of like the guy more than her, actually. But I love my daughter, even though she wants to be her own person. But hey, you know, what did Ronald Reagan say, right? What the hell's wrong with you, kid? I like what Ronald Reagan's son said about him, because we have the Reagan Center up there. You can't see it from here, but we have a very, very eclectic population. You got all kinds of liberals here, but then you got this big conservative icon here, okay, right there on State Street. It's a funny thing, because personally I don't vote, because it just encourages the bastards, all right? But if you got, yeah, you got to have a good guy up top, right? But you know, all the other people, I mean, that's a budget cut, you know what I mean? It's a budget cut, fiscal budget cut. Yeah, I mean, you only need one person to really tell everybody what to do. I mean, look at Saddam Hussein, look at Gaddafi, look at some of these people, man. They went a long way just being one guy, right? At least they didn't waste money like we do. So anyway, yeah. So his son said that the right wing makes a fetish object out of my father, and I couldn't agree more, you know. The thing is, I always think that sometimes, you know, where it's got that big picture in there when you walk in there to the main hall, and it's like, oh, Mr. Gorbachev, knock down that wall, right? And then it's like, I think on the other side of the wall, the Russians are filming, right? And they're saying, Gorbachev is saying, Mr. Reagan, knock down that wall, you know? It's like, you know what I mean? Hey, come on, the whole Lincoln thing, man. The Lincoln-Kennedy thing, come on, there's something creepy about that. Bin Laden, Biden, Osama, Obama, come on. Don't, you know, I'm just taking pot shots here, right? But, I mean, the only thing, who's writing history? That's what I want to know. Obviously, the victorious historians, okay? So anyway, now that I've done that little thing, I'm not schmoozing anybody, obviously. I just want you to know that I'm not schmoozing anybody, or I wouldn't have said all that stuff. If I was kissing anybody's bododio, man, I would certainly not be out here saying this stuff. You know why I do it? Because it's a free country, right? You know why it's free? Because somebody else paid for it. So anyway, it's good. It's good that people are out there doing stuff, but I think, yeah, Afghanistan, I've been there, you know, it's kind of a lost cause full of rocks. You know? There's people there, you know, I know, but you know, people talk, so you can't just go in there, start a war, fight it, and then go in there and start a bunch of bauxite mines, right? You can't do that, right? You got to sell stock, promissory notes, futures, You know what I mean? Maybe an offshore drilling company goes in there and does a few other things, and then all of a sudden, I am so damn thankful when I wake up the next morning, and when I didn't, you know, something, I missed a cue, I missed an invite, I missed a date, I missed a wink, you know, and I'll see you later, and I'm like, I don't catch it. I am so damn thankful the next morning. Are you still there? You didn't get any sound on anything?
Well, I can't be sure because the wind's blowing.
Can you listen to it? Do you want to borrow my headphones?
No, not now. I have to put it on a computer.
You can't hear whether you're hearing anything?
Oh, I
So,
know,
you know
I
that-
know I am.
So that $200 mic that I bought, did I waste money?
Did you buy a $200 mic?
Yeah, it's an air mic. You can go up to 300 feet with it. It broadcasts.
Wireless mic?
Yeah, it's a wireless mic.
You gotta have a camera to plug it into.
I have a camera to plug it into.
There you
I've always
go.
had a camera to plug it into. I've just never done it.
Well, why don't you?
Because last shot we had it down to here. Okay, now we've extended it, and we greened this in. We're making that the mesa. As you notice, look, there's beach, there's cityscape, there's some trees and up close stuff, and then in the background there's a mesa, right? And it's a hill. It's got a form. It's olive green, and it's got some. Basically, you're only going to see some little white house, little white faces, and some red roofs, right? Terracotta. Now behind that, so I'm going to extend that because you can misjudge these things real easy when you're not drawing them. Okay. Now remember Dan McGowan, when he saw me after many years, and we were up painting in the Okanagan, and he said, the late Dan McGowan, the late great Dan McGowan. Okay. This is about 2005. Was it 2005? 2005. Yes. He says, "Why do you wipe?" And I said, "Tone. Tone." He says, "Oh." He didn't question it, but after the thing, yeah, he was a Scorpio. Scorpios are really interesting people. They can discern things. My dad had that kind of a knack. You know, they can tell you what you're good at, and you ought to stick to it. So wiping things. All right, these are culvers, canyons. Okay, but you don't want them that dark. Okay, and if you thin the paint out too much, and it gets runny, so you choose the less of two weevils. Okay, you're getting okay, weevil. I just want some of the texture of that mountain in there. That's like whatever that is. I don't know if that's 154 up there or what, because I wasn't raised here. But I hate to sound disingenuous and name it something that it isn't. That would even be worse. Okay, problem with these things is you see those white spots up there on the mountain? You can't go lighter because it's watercolor. You had to have masked it out, okay? But I'm not sitting in a studio with a bunch of latex, you know, art mask at my disposal, you know, with a soapy brush and putting it on there and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, all that planning and care kind of took second place when I went out to just go out and paint plein air. So I'm just going to do the best I can, you know. Like one artist said, I can't do much with shape and form, but I can do a whole